guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight I'm going to make beef jerky and it's a several day process. So I'm going to do step 1 tonight and then in the morning I'll show you step 2 and then after in the evening there'll be step 3. So it kind of takes a while, but it's mostly like waiting time. It's not very labor intensive. It's a pretty easy thing to do. Now tonight all you need right now is the meat you're going to jerky and some of this. This here is a home curing salt. This is the brand I like to use. This is a Morton brand. Make sure you don't just use regular salt because it's not the same thing. You're going to use 1 tablespoon of this for every pound of meat you're going to use for your jerky. Tonight I have beef, but you can do elk or deer. I haven't tried turkey, but I want to. So I'll let you know how that goes when I try it. So I've got 7 pounds of meat right now. So I've got 7 tablespoons of the salt, of the curing salt, and it's not just salt. It has several other ingredients in it, so make sure you get the right stuff. Now, you can get different cures that are flavored. I'm going to show you how I flavor mine. I cure mine first, and then in the morning I'll actually rinse the cure off the meat with cold water, and then I'll actually put mine in a marinade for about 9 to 12 hours. Before I put it on my dehydrator. So I'm going to show you how this works. Normally, I basically just go with whatever meat is on sale. So I got these pot roasts, and these are like a chuck cross rib roast. So they've actually got a lot of marbling. I try to avoid that usually. You don't want as much fat in your meat when you're trying to jerky it because it will kind of shrink and render off and leave like a glistening oily surface on your jerky. So the less fat you have in it, the longer it will last and the better it won't go rancid very fast. And then you won't have to dab any of the oil off when you're done making your jerky. But this is what was on sale, so I'm going to try to trim off as much fat as I can and just go with it anyways. Most of the time when I make my jerky, it goes in the fridge or the freezer anyway, so I'm not as worried about the fat in it going rancid. We eat it pretty fast. I make this every winter, and we don't do it much in the summer because the dehydrator has to sit on the countertop for a day, for 12 plus hours, depending on how much meat you have or how thick you cut it. And it gets kind of hot. It heats up the house a little bit, and you just don't want that in the summer. So in the fall and winter is when I usually do my jerky, and we wait all year for it. We love it. It's my favorite recipe I've found, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to show you what I started on right here. I'll show you a few of these little pieces. Right here I've got a piece of that beef, and you can see the marbling in it. I usually try to avoid that, but the price is so good on the beef, I thought I'd try it anyways. So I'm going to basically just trim off as much fat as I can, and you can see how thin those are. You want to try to get the beef or whatever you're using to jerky about the same thickness with all the pieces so that they cook evenly, so they dehydrate evenly. And what I do is I actually will freeze the roast first, and then I will only partially thaw it, so it's kind of still a little bit frozen, and it slices really, really well. It's about half frozen, half thawed, and you can get a really good consistent slice on that. So that makes it way easier to get a good slice on it, and sharpen your knife before you do. That helps a lot too. So I'm going to go ahead and get all 7 pounds of this sliced up, and it'll be a little less than 7 pounds by the time I slice all the fat off. So you might have to use a little less of your salt. I'm going to get that all sliced up, and I will show you what I do next. Okay, so I've got the first layer of the beef sliced up in the bottom of this pan. This is just a 9 by 13 regular cookie, or a cake pan. It doesn't really matter what you put it in. I have no idea if you can put them in metal or not, so be careful with that. Maybe do a little Googling. I'm just putting it in the glass pan. They're all in one layer. They're all about the same thickness. I've tried to trim a lot of the fat off. So now I'm going to just kind of sprinkle a little bit of this salt on it and try and cover a lot of the surface of that meat with just kind of a light dusting of the salt. You can see it going on here. And as you add it, the moisture on the beef will kind of make the salt look more translucent. So pay attention to where you've already put it. And that's it. So that's one side of the beef is covered in the curing salts. So I will flip it over, do the same thing, just dust it. And I'm just going to do layer after layer of that until the beef is all sliced up. Then I will cover it with plastic wrap and put this in the fridge overnight. And when it's all done in the morning, I will rinse all of this salt off in cold water and start fresh with this again to put it in my marinade. So I'm going to do this, and I will come back in the morning and show you guys how to rinse all the salt off. And that's it. That's really the first step for tonight. And it's pretty simple. And I'll see you guys in the morning when I rinse the salt off and show you the next step. Good morning, guys. It is the next morning. Our jerky has been sitting in the curing salt all night in the fridge, and I'm ready to put it in the marinade until this evening. So it'll sit all day, about 9 to 12 hours in the marinade, and then I'll put it on the dehydrator before I go to bed tonight. So before I get my hands dirty with the meat and I show you what I do with that, I'm going to talk marinade for a minute. Now, this is what I've been using for a few years. Now, this bowl right here, I've got the marinade all mixed up in for you, so you can see that. This is a pepper teriyaki jerky, and it's my favorite flavor. We don't even deviate from this because it's the best. So you start with 4 cups of brown sugar. Now, I've got dark brown sugar. It actually doesn't really matter. Just brown sugar's fine. If you have a preference, go with that, because I tend to always go with whatever my preference is in a recipe. Oh, and sorry, excuse the crazy hair, because it's morning and I haven't had a chance to refresh my curls yet, so I look a little crazy. But yeah, so there's the brown sugar, and you go with 4 cups of that if you've got approximately 7 pounds of meat like I have, okay? Then you're also going to have, let's see here, 3/4 of a cup of soy sauce. This is the kind I like. Okay, it's not just a salty flavor. The Kikkoman has more flavor profile than just a basic generic soy sauce. So this is my favorite soy sauce. I use this. So 3/4 of a cup of this. Then you are going to need a 1/2 cup or about 1 whole bottle of liquid smoke. This is 3.5 fluid ounces, so 3.5 ounces. I like the Wright's brand, and this is a hickory, I think. Yeah, this one's a hickory smoke. This is what I usually use. I like that there's only 2 ingredients. It's just water and natural smoke concentrate from hickory. So really simple, not a lot of ingredients. That's what I use. So you'll use a whole bottle of this to the 4 cups of sugar, to the 3/4 a cup of soy sauce. Oh, you could use amino or liquid aminos if you want to instead of the soy sauce. But I mean, it's got 4 cups of sugar. Why are you trying to be healthy right now? It's delicious. So 4 cups of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of soy sauce, 1 bottle of this, and that's, again, to 7 pounds of meat. You're going to have to figure out the measurements depending on how much meat you have. Next, you are actually going to add a 1/2 cup of this. This is the Soy Vey brand, very, very teriyaki, and technically you could use any brand you want. But again, this has been my favorite. And so we kind of keep to this. Let's see here. Okay, so now you're going to want 3 tablespoons of coarse black pepper. Don't go find black pepper, coarse black pepper. This adds so much flavor to it. You can do a little less if you don't like it with that peppery, spicy kick. It's not really spicy because my kids will still eat it just fine. But if you don't like it or your kids don't like it, you can leave it out or just don't use so much. I think that it really completes the flavor of the jerky. So, okay. And then your very last ingredient. Sorry, I'm reaching behind the camera to grab all these that are sitting on the counter. So this is garlic salt. You could use garlic powder or garlic salt. I like to do the garlic salt because it just kicks up that little salty sweet flavor a little bit. You're going to use 1.5 tablespoons of garlic salt in that amount of marinade that you just made, all those measurements. And I will make sure to put all these measurements in the description box below for you as well. So that's it. And then you just mix it all together. And now here comes another part that I'm going to show you. My hands are going to get a little dirty for this, so I washed them really, really well. This is the meat that we did last night in the Teriyaki sauce. It's been sitting all night, and you can see it's kind of turned more of a brown color. It's not as bright red as it was last night. That's normal for the curing salts. So what we're going to do, let me move over here so you can see. I have a bowl of cold water right here, okay? You want it cold. Do not wash the salts off in warm water. You don't want this to blanch or cook at all. Your meat needs to stay raw for this because it can go rancid faster if it blanches or cooks it a little bit. So cold water, I'm just basically going to rinse a lot of this meat off in the cold water. And as I rinse it off, I'm going to go in batches. I'm going to rinse off the curing salts, and then from the water here, I'm going to rinse it off, kind of let it drain a little bit, and it's going to go right into the bowl of marinade. So that's it. You rinse it all off, put it in the marinade, and I will show you what to do next. So I'm going to pause the camera and get this all rinsed off, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, we're back. So I've got all of my meat rinsed off and in the marinade. I tossed it really well so that it's covered in the marinade. It's really thoroughly sitting in it, I guess. It is submerged under the marinade. I've kind of pushed it down, tossed it really well. I want all the pieces coated in this marinade. You want them all covered in that teriyaki sauce and the black pepper, because you get kind of the little seeds from the teriyaki sauce and the bits and pieces of the black pepper, and you want that on all the pieces of meat because it gives it such a good flavor. Now this is going to sit just like this with the lid on. If you don't have a container with a lid, just plastic wrap it. And it's going to sit in my fridge till I go to bed tonight, and I'm going to put it on the dehydrator right before I go to bed. So we'll get, 9-10 hours, maybe a little more of time with this. And I'll show you when I put it on the dehydrator tonight, and we'll kind of talk about the different options you could do if you don't have a dehydrator like I do. So I will see you later tonight. Okay, hi guys. So this part of the video is going to be pretty short and sweet. It's really simple. My beef has been sitting in the marinade all day while I was gone out doing things. Now I'm going to put it on my dehydrator here for about 2 hours on high, and then I'm going to turn it down to medium, and I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to let it go all night and probably most of tomorrow. Typically, I want to have it on medium for about 12 hours or more if it's not finished. You'll know basically based on the texture, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished tomorrow when it's all done. So you can see that it's not too dry and brittle, but it's not soft and smushy anymore. Smushy. I don't know what term to use for that. It's a jerky that's not well cooked or well dried. So I'll show you tomorrow when it is done, and you can have a better idea of what that looks like when I do that. But I have a dehydrator that I do all this on, and most people don't. But I started doing this a few years ago. I just started doing it in the oven. So if you have an oven that you don't mind keeping it full of jerky for 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever it takes, because the oven goes a little faster than the dehydrator. When you put it in the oven, you will actually make sure you cut your strips of meat a little bit longer so that they can lay on the oven racks themselves. And you can put the oven down to 170 to 180 degrees. That's about as low as most ovens will go. And put it in the oven, and basically you can stick a fork or a spoon in the oven door to vent the oven, or maybe if your oven has a fan option, that might help. You can kind of vent it with a fan option. So you can put it right on the oven racks and go for about 9 or 10 hours till they're completely done. And it will really smell amazing. By morning, my kitchen's going to smell amazing with the dehydrator here. So this is the really quick part. I'm just going to put them right on the dehydrator racks, let it sit on high for 2 hours, and then I'm going to put it to medium and just let it go till it's all the way done. And in the morning, I will show you guys what completely done jerky looks like. Obviously, you buy jerky in the store all the time, so I'm sure you know what it looks like. But it is a little different homemade. It's always exciting to wake up to a batch of jerky. The kids love that. My husband loves it. I always save a batch of jerky for my brother-in-law. It's his favorite. He waits every year for it, so I'll make sure he gets a little bit of that. I'll be back in the morning to show you all the jerky finished. This is the end result. I'm just going to show you guys real quick here what this looks like. So this is our jerky, all covered in the marinade, and it's been marinating all day. And you can see the black pepper and the bits of teriyaki on it. I'm just going to lay it flat on the dehydrator racks and go for 2 hours on high and about 12 hours on medium. Excuse me, my voice is going out for some reason. And then I'll see you in the morning and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so the jerky's finally done. I put it on the dehydrator last night and I sat it on the dehydrator for 2 hours on high, and then I put it on medium and I left it overnight, and it actually went for about 15 hours on medium until it was totally done, which was around lunchtime today. And we ate some for lunch and it was really good, and I had this big beautiful Tupperware that was mostly full of beef jerky today, and as you can see, it's almost all gone already. Okay. My husband really likes this stuff. I'm pretty sure he's had like 20 pieces today. Well, that's okay. I normally put this in the fridge or the freezer, but I don't think it's even going to last that long. I'll probably just put this right in my cold pantry, and let's see how long it lasts. I might have to do another batch soon, but I'm going to pull one of these out and let you see what it looks like. I'm going to explain a few things about this. So, okay, so it looks like totally normal beef jerky you'd buy in the store, but you made it homemade and it tastes amazing. This piece is very lean. You can kind of see there, not much fat. This piece had a decent amount of fat marbling. Let's see if you can get a better look at that. Yeah. The fat marbling does make it go rancid faster. I don't think that's going to be a problem because it's already almost gone. If you have like an oily sheen to some of your beef jerky pieces, that's probably the fat that's rendering out when you dehydrate it. You can take a napkin and dab some of that off and dab off whatever moisture you have on there, and it'll last a lot longer. You can store this in the vacuum seal bags. You can put them in the fridge and freezer like I do. I don't know the approximate dates on this. I know that I've done a batch where it was in the fridge for a couple weeks, and that's about it. It doesn't last long, so I've never had to test that. So do a little research, maybe Google how long you can keep homemade beef jerky, and follow precautions. It is still meat, even though it has been cured and dehydrated. Like I said, it never lasts very long. We eat it so fast. So that's the fruits of all of our labors. It's already almost gone, but that's okay. I'll do another batch in like a week, I'm sure. This time of year, my husband just loves it. I also went back and watched the video portion I filmed last night where I was showing you guys what the jerky looked like before I put it on the dehydrator. And I just wanted to address my hair. I'll start with saying I had baby number 4 9 months ago. And ever since then, my hair has been in open rebellion against me. And I can't seem to tame it, and it's getting curlier and frizzier. So I've been trying to do the curly girl method to calm it down. And I'm still in transition with my hair. So anyone who's done the curly girl method knows that transition is the part where you basically just give up because you look awful all the time. So I'm just really trying to get my hair to calm down. And I thought about refilming that part. But then I looked at it and I thought, that's the reality of life with 4 kids, guys. Sometimes the back of your hair is insane because you didn't have time to look at it because you have kids. You have people that are depending on you. And sometimes it's not a priority. Most of the time, it's not a priority for me. And I kind of miss the days where I could do my hair, but it's just not a priority. One of these days, I will, I'm sure, film a video where my makeup's all nice and my hair is done well. I haven't done anything really with it in a long time. One of these days I will film a video where I look like a totally functioning human being. But I have 4 little kids, and that day that I decide to do my hair, I would probably have to decide not to sit down and listen to my 6-year-old read his Bible to me because he loves it. And I don't want to give that up. And that would probably be the day that I don't snuggle my really, really cranky 3-year-old who is also in open rebellion lately, who really needs that snuggle time. And I also have a full-time nursing baby who needs me, and that's okay. And he's also 100% profoundly deaf. We actually found out not long after he was born. So we're learning to sign to him. We're learning to talk to him through sign language. And that's also a lot of work. So, guys, I watch these videos on YouTube all the time, and I see so many girls, and their hair is perfect, and their makeup's perfect, and they have these cute little homestead blogs and these video blogs. And I'm just going to say right now, I've got a lot of homestead skills that I can't wait to share with you guys, and a lot of recipes. But more often than not, I'm going to be kind of real because I just don't have time to orchestrate all that. And that's okay, because I kind of want people to see a different side of this. I'm a mom, and I have things to do, and I homeschool my kids, and most of the people who watch these videos lead totally normal lives and don't have time to have the Instagram life. And I didn't want to refilm that part because I wanted you guys to see what it really looks like on a normal day for a normal person who does these things anyways. I still find time to cook and do all these things. Even though I don't feel like I ever have time for myself, I do it because I enjoy cooking and I enjoy filming these videos for you guys. So anyways, there's my little rant. I hope all of you moms know out there that it's okay. Sometimes you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to see that person and you're not even going to recognize her. Come back, do a little self-care another day. You're going to have rough days, and that's okay. Last night was a really rough night for me. I was so tired, and my hair looked awful, and I just need to apparently come to grips with that because God wants my hair to look crazy lately. For whatever reason, I'm just going to have to be okay with that. So, working on that. Okay. I hope you guys like this tutorial. Like and subscribe. And God bless you guys, and good night.